Amid the news that Biden is dropping out of the 2024 race, Donald Trump of course posted a raft of posts on Truth Social, but it was his most recent one that was especially telling. He wrote, "My debate with crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, was slated to be broadcast on fake news ABC, the home of George Slopadopoulos, sometime in September. Now that Joe has, not surprisingly, quit the race, I think the debate with whoever the radical left Democrats choose should be held on Fox News rather than the very biased ABC. Thank you." In other words, he's already laying the groundwork to skip the September debate by moving the goalposts and creating new and, frankly, unacceptable standards that now have to be met. To be clear, Fox News, the network that was forced to pay $787 million for lying on Donald Trump's behalf and that has been breathlessly waging right-wing propaganda on his behalf, should not be able to host a debate with Donald Trump. And Trump knows that that's unacceptable, which is why he's saying it. It's not because he actually wants a debate, even one hosted by Fox News. It's precisely because he doesn't. He is clearly scared, and this is his way of wiggling out of standing on that stage as a convicted felon alongside Kamala Harris, a longtime prosecutor. He knows exactly how he would fare against her. In fact, she already has experience prosecuting this exact case. Here's an ad that Kamala ran back in 2020. Take a look and then ask yourself why Donald Trump might just be a tad afraid to face off against her.
Sick of this? Well, think about this. He's a world leader in temper tantrums. She never loses her cool. She prosecuted sex predators. He is one.
Grab him by the...
She shut down for-profit colleges that swindled Americans. He was a for-profit college.
At Trump University, we teach success.
Literally. He's owned by the big banks. She's the attorney general who beat the biggest banks in America and forced them to pay homeowners $18 billion. He's tearing us apart. She'll bring us together. This is Trump. And in every possible way, this is the anti-Trump. So if that's what you're looking for in your next president, there's really only one. Kamala.
So if you're Donald Trump, and you are a 34-time convicted felon and a sex predator, and suddenly your opponent is a criminal prosecutor who locked up sex predators, would you be eager to debate? Me neither. There's also the fact that Kamala Harris's principal issue as vice president has been defending women's reproductive rights, the exact issue that has united virtually the entire country, including voters in Kansas, Ohio, Kentucky, Virginia, Alabama, and on and on. All the while, here's Donald Trump's position on that exact issue.
I got rid of Roe v. Wade.
I'm the one that got rid of Roe v. Wade.
I was able to do it, and I was very honored to do it.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form. There, of course, remains a vital role for the federal government in protecting unborn life.
Nobody has ever done more for right to life than Donald Trump. Roe v. Wade, they won. They finally won.
The Iowa bill was signed, and they wouldn't have been able to do anything if I wasn't able to do what I did.
Meaning, yet again, Kamala Harris is uniquely positioned to take on Donald Trump as she focuses on the principal issue that Trump is weakest on, and the issue on which there is zero ambiguity as to where Donald Trump stands. Trump just drew a challenger who's dedicated her career to restoring abortion rights against the guy who stripped those rights away in a country that has repeatedly rejected abortion extremism. I'd call that bad luck, but the risks of Trump's extremism were always abundantly clear. In fact, Trump's fears are being echoed by Republican sources in the media. According to Politico, quote, "It's striking how much GOP anger there is over today's news. Donald Trump's campaign is built to beat Joe Biden. One GOP source tells me he doubts Trump will debate Vice President Kamala Harris. He'll likely call her an illegitimate candidate. In other words, he'll run away because he knows he'll lose. Remind me, Republicans, this is your strongman? Got it." And Trump didn't stop there. He posted another post on the Truth Social, writing, "So we are forced to spend time and money on fighting crooked Joe Biden. He polls badly after having a terrible debate and quits the race. Now we have to start all over again. Shouldn't the Republican Party be reimbursed for fraud in that everybody around Joe, including the doctors and fake news media, knew he was not capable of running for or being president? Just asking." First of all, are you at all surprised that Trump's initial reaction is to demand money? the grift truly never stops. The guy could be on fire, and he would demand that the firefighters empty their wallets before they put him out. But second, does this sound like a guy who's confident that he'll win? From day one, Trump was only ever able to say that Biden was old. He was never able to actually prosecute the case on the merits. He was never able to attack Biden on legislation or his accomplishments because he couldn't. All he ever had was the bargain basement strategy of saying old, old, old. And now that Kamala's in, and suddenly Trump is the old one, and this race will no longer be a referendum on Joe Biden's age, but rather on the actual issues like abortion and Project 2025 and Trump's dangerous expansion of the executive branch, Donald Trump quite literally doesn't know what to do. So he does the only thing he knows how to do, to bitch and complain and ultimately demand some more money. So do not be surprised if you see Trump out there wallowing in self-pity and victimhood. But you might want to contrast that with the image that his campaign is trying to convey. Donald Trump wants to be viewed as a strong man, and yet his reaction to Kamala Harris becoming the nominee is to throw a temper tantrum and demand cash. His reaction is to set the stage to back out of the debate. And yet this is the guy who's going to defend the US on the world stage in the event of an emergency? This is who's going to protect our country? The guy who's too scared to debate his opponent? Give me a break. Trump is weak, and it's becoming painfully obvious. In fact, the extent to which he doesn't know how to run against Kamala is especially obvious here.
From the moment we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden and Kamala, I call her Laughing Kamala. You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy. You know, you can tell a lot by a laugh. No, she's crazy. She's nuts. She's not as crazy as Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy.
That's what he's got against Kamala. Her laugh. Nothing else. This is going to be a bad last few months of campaigning for Trump. And what's worse for him? His campaign has spent years laying the foundation as to why we shouldn't have an old guy as president. Well, guess what? There's only one candidate for president who's an old guy, and it's not Kamala Harris. Donald Trump is now the only septuagenarian candidate for president, and I gotta say, those Republicans may have been onto something. Do we really want someone who's gonna be in his 80s as president? Do we really think he'll be able to wake up at 3 a.m. if there's a national security emergency? Especially with someone with as poor health as Trump has? Just, you know, something to think about. And that's to say nothing of the most important point. Trump is an idiot. He is an incompetent lunatic who spent the last few days advocating for Hannibal Lecter and better water pressure in toilets. His first term was an abject failure, with him losing the most jobs in American history, overseeing a worst in the world response to COVID, a sky-high unemployment rate, an economy that contracted 3.4%, and a surging murder rate. Luckily for America, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris added 16 million jobs, brought the unemployment rate down to a half-century low, oversaw the strongest economy in the world, and brought the murder rate down a staggering 25%. Their records speak for themselves, which is probably why Trump will do everything he can to avoid speaking on that record on a debate stage. I know he's supposed to be the tough guy, but I've never seen a politician look more weak. I've got a really exciting announcement. I've written a book. It's called Shameless. This book explores how Republicans have exploited their historical branding while attacking our democracy, how the media has proven itself a willful participant, and how Democrats can learn from this to rebalance the political scales and save our democracy. It has been a lifelong dream of mine to write my own book, and so I'd like to ask you to pre-order it by clicking the link right here on the screen. And if you buy within this pre-order period, your book is going to come with a signed nameplate. As you know, I've never had a single sponsor on my channel. I don't ask for money or anything like that, but if you're looking for a way to support me, this is hands down the best way to do it. So again, follow the link right here on the screen, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for pre-ordering Shameless. And as always, make sure to subscribe to see more of my content.